Alright, first off, I'd like to say all praises to Yahweh, Basham Yahushai, to be honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and shalom to the brothers in the highways and byways doing this work in all sincerity and truth. So, Brother Irawam from the GMS Jamaica camp, GMS Intellect once more. And basically, this breakdown I just going on one small article where the brother Kazakh sent me, basically, in our camp, from Marital Rip, just to show how unjust and wicked the society is, and how out of order it is as it pertains to marriage, yo. That's why I want to hurry up and leave the society, because no form of order and structure and deny it. Because this whole concept of marital rape is basically a send a man for go jail if you have sex with his wife, right? Or so-called forcefully have sex with his wife. When you really look upon it, sex is a natural part of marriage, right? So, with no further ado, we just are going to article at the same time. So the Gleaner, a Jamaican news printing press, or well-renowned news newspaper, right? It says, letter of the day, marital rape, call it something else. The editor, sir, as far as I know, sexual intercourse between two people in marriage is not just legally and morally acceptable, it is considered an intrinsic part of it. The word intrinsic means a natural part, or pertaining to something that's natural. So basically, sex is a natural part of marriage. That's what the person basically write to the editor, tell him. He says, so intrinsic in the fact that it is significant, that its significance is set up both in religion and in law. The law of the land recognizes the importance of intercourse in marriage to the extent that it lays down ground rules for dissolution of the union in the event that intercourse does not occur, right? Because I think at 3 months, if you basically do it for them way, you go to church and you put on a ring and all of that, and 3 months after that, you and the girl have sex, then basically say the marriage is not valid. I have to basically do over the process all over again, right? But as we said, from them I try to pass this law about marital rape, right? They say in other words, society recognizes the non-copulation, no marriage rule. Exactly. If you don't have sex with a person, then it's not a marriage. And marriage are basically something basically that signify the union, yo. That a natural part of having a relationship, a part of the woman's duty, and even the man, because in the law it tells us food and raiment and duty of marriage. Part of the duty of marriage is having sex. So that's a natural part of a married life, right? But now these basically the women have the shots to basically call say you rape them, yo. Say them husband rape them, right? So simply put, rape is having sex with someone without their consent. So then, how can one rape one's wife who had in fact given consent? When was consent given? I am no lawyer, but based on the law's express recognition of importance of sex in a marriage, logic would lead me to believe that consent was given for sex at the point where the marriage ceremony is complete and the necessary legal documents signed. Exactly. Because when I plan for going to a marriage, and a natural, in yourself is supposed to know it's a natural part of marriage is having sex. So once if you do it Esau way, we just say that for argument's sake, we know in the right way that. But say you do it Esau way, once you basically sign a paper there, you basically agree if you have sex with the man, because that's a natural part of a marriage. Once you and somebody live together, sleep in the same bed and all and something, naturally that feeling there come up on you if you have sex with them, yo. So the whole fact say, yeah, say, yo, if a man have sex with them, I will tell him no and all of that. Why point are you going in the marriage in the first place? Right? But for sure how hypocritical and messed up the society is. Where something as simple as marriage, Esau just take it and turn it upside down, yo. We call it the 21st century. In other words, immediately upon marrying a man, the woman accepts the normal natural, legal, and moral responsibility of copulating with her husband. Exactly. The blanket consent, I would expect, remains in place for a duration of the marriage. Exactly. All of the why you sign up for in the beginning, supposed to they throughout the whole entire marriage. So you're not gonna just have sex with them before 3 months of the marriage stay, and then after that do what you want to. Throughout the whole entire marriage, you're supposed to give him sex, you're supposed to take care of him, supposed to feed him and all them things. That are the natural part I get in marriage. I just nature, yo. But when I have this human rights movement and all them shit, basically just throw off the whole balance. Right? Except in cases where the legal separation or estrangement of the partners because of their individual marital difficulties. Now, by right, that's not supposed to happen, yo, because once the law tell you, a death, literally a death do your part, right? Because anything outside of that, almost adultery, yo. If you basically have a wife and she have sex with another man in a point and time where you are alive, she basically commit adultery, and who have sex with her commit adultery. So that was separation part off. But the whole basis on the argument, it really valid when you really examine it. It says, so if sex is a normal part of marriage and the woman had effect given consent upon marrying the man and both are in fact still in union, how can it be rape? Good question. Right? Okay, so that I will think. If she give her consent from the beginning, no say sex a part of marriage and all stuff there, and set the paper, while later on down in the marriage she want withhold sex and all them things there. But then again, the man supposed to still pay the bills, the man supposed to still do that. But she no want basically hold up fear off of the whole thing. And basically when I really put it, rape can come in 2 ways too, because look here. Them can't even leave, because the word rape, you know, say, the real definition of rape I mean to seize. Them can't deal with it for 5 years, and then after 5 years, they make up some lie or basically say they don't want the marriage again, say them a divorce you, and move with half of your assets them, yo, seize half your assets them through the state. Right? Even though even in them 5 years she would have sex with you for like 1 year, and then the next 4 she just roll out. Start telling no, because she have Esau for back her with the law and everything. And then 4 more years down the line, she go with half your assets them and not even do nothing, yo. To show how backward and wicked this society is. So the editor basically I go change gears and say yo in basically I go say alright, for argument's sake, you say okay, let's say the bride does not automatically give consent upon becoming marriage. The only logical conclusion one could draw from this would be that sex is no longer an entitlement, but is rather a privilege which the wife, and I suppose the husband, can withdraw on a whim. In other words, sex is no longer acceptable or normal part of marriage. Exactly. Because the woman here, them just, when a woman marries a man in this day and age, it's all about what them can get, or what the man can do for them. It's all about them, yo. Modern rules of marriage, same article, but in just have a little excerpt, if you will, or a different a next topic. It's a modern rules of marriage. Will someone come forward and explain this to us? If it is so, because if the new rules apply, it certainly is not a normal part of marriage, right? And if it is, could someone please tell us the relevant parameters under which these rules will operate? Because if the law of the land is now venturing in matrimonial beds to decide when and where and how consent may be given and are withdrawn, then the term sanctity of marriage is no longer a concept that we should hold dear. Exactly. Why are you need to have the law tell us how you basically how you ask for sex and where you're supposed to get have sex and all them things, or if you can withdraw sex and all that. Yo, if you end up on our period, we're not separating yourself for fasting and prayer. You're supposed to and so need require you give up the sex, yo. The scripture tell you the husband have no power over his body but the wife, and the wife have no power over her body but the husband. And then if we separate less Satan and less fasting and prayer, yo, the Satan basically as a matter of fact, we just read it, because some simple things for sure say, yo, if you don't have the scriptures, you're basically dead, yo, and just a wonder and a confusion, yo. You just a wonder and a confusion. So 1 Corinthians 7 verse 3. Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto the husband. The wife hath not power over her body, but the husband, and likewise also the husband hath no power of his own body, but the wife. Defraud ye not one another, except it be with consent for a time, that ye may give yourselves to fasting and prayer, and come together again, that Satan tempt you not for incontinency. Right? So it's a natural thing, yo. Supposed to, if you break a cut with consent for your time, yo, so you fast or pray, yo, or if you depend on a period, yo. But outside of that, if so need require you give man sex if you want sex, simple as that. And we not say, yo, a man put in a balance. We not say, yo, a man supposed to abuse his wife, yo, or basically I go overboard with it, because we not talk about man for just beat up the woman and have sex with the woman and all that thing. But what we say is that the normal way, the right way, right, pertaining to marriage and all them things there. Sex is just a natural part of yo. It's just nature. That's the best way we can explain. It's just nature, yo. Right? Next we carry on. He said, this is not to suggest in any way that man has any right to abuse his wife's body in any way, shape or form. Exactly. I simply have a problem with the term and concept marital rape. Call it something else. For me, it is simply a question of semantics. Right? You can't. That just messed up, yo. Alright, so basically, well, we will just jump in after I comments them and just see how this go, right? Alright, this is our first person. I guess you are female. They say fed up with misogyny, right? And basically, misogyny is basically a Greek way of saying to hate woman. So basically, they say you're fed up with misogyny. They say no means no. There is no implied any Salakia. No means no. There is no implied anytime, anywhere consent. You did not buy a blow-up doll. You married a human with feelings and wishes. If you don't grasp that basic fact, you're lacking emotional intelligence. Now what the hell is emotional intelligence? Esau and them woman and them frig up term here and them frig up logic here, yo. When you never buy a blow up doll, you buy when back then in Asian time when you buy your wife, you buy her to do certain things. Wash, cook, clean, give sex, bring your children, all them things there. Yo, she a part of your possession, she a part of your household. So you have a purpose within your household, and she's supposed to serve them purpose there. If not, you basically, if you have a vessel when now do you're supposed to do it worthless, you're supposed to just dash away. She not serve no purpose in your house then. You would buy her if you never have a use for her, yo. And that is why he go for sure say, yo, we're supposed to have more than one woman, because when you want to freak themselves, you know, they just put them aside, yo, because them not serve them purpose. We see that in even a book of Esther with Queen Vashti, yo. The king call her, and basically she make the king know, say, look here, me now come nowhere. So when do? He just replace her. And he say, yo, them do that for a lesson. So, as a lesson to all the other wives them in the land, to make them know, say, oh, don't come up against your husband because you can't get replaced. It says some people should continue. It says with a different person. It says some people shouldn't be in a relationship, much less marriage. They are too self-centered. If some men would just wise up, find someone who they are really compatible with, a lot of women would keep it until it is spoiled. Well, you must say find somebody you're comfortable with. May I say you have a, well, no in this society, because even that one in itself a headache or them one are wicked. But in our kingdom, we have as much as as much as woman as we can afford to maintain and all of that, yo. Because guess what? Them because them feel like say yo, them worth something and those whole marriage one man to one woman thing, them basically put themselves on a pedestal, yo. When them all that, yo, the man of the head. A man more valuable than a woman, I just so it all set. But all of them have them purpose. And if you not fulfill your purpose, then basically you're worthless, yo. Simple as that. And that's why we say the black woman, the Israelite women are today, them worthless, yo. And majority of them, now I say but majority of them worthless, yo. Because them not serve them true purpose. And that's how we get upon them so much, yo. The women of the tribes, all the tribes. Because them out of order, yo. That's why we speak the way we speak. And Esau the one who give them this power with this women rights movement and all that, yo. The next person was, marriage do not make a woman the personal property of the husband. All humans have civil rights that should be respected. A woman is not a toy. See, there you go again. The scripture tells you either get it a wife, get it a possession. Right? And all this human rights bullshit are just friggery, yo. Because from the scriptures, even up to the 12th, 13th century, them women never have so much rights either. The man I want to have control over them property and all of that just the same. In our scriptures, a man is either the woman husband or a father of the authority to even stop our prayers to the Most High, yo. That's how serious the Most High is when it come on to order. The man even have the right to stop the prayers, yo. So this person clear the bug out of the mind, yo. I'm not read all like comment them up, just I look for alright, this one next person I say, let me give you a lesson, sir. Not because a woman signs a marriage contract does she give up her anatomy as a human being. She has the right to decide how and when she will engage in sex. She is not property. No man has the right of ownership of his wife. The Heavenly Father don't think so. Not in the 21st century. So him even him right in the 21st century because what? Esau put this society in out of balance. Because back then no man could try them shit there, yo. Furthermore, he does not give up his anatomy by virtue of signing said same document. It gives her no right to control his body. Because she on the head, yo. She on the head. Try come with another argument. Rape is rape. Now this is what a woman say, yo. Totally agree. Consent was granted when you said I do. What more consent should the man need? I am not saying the man should abuse his wife, but how many no's should the husband take? Exactly. And come say she said no, and he say alright, just give it a pass. You go again, she said no. How much no the man will take? How much no him will take? As I said, that's why it's right for you have more than one woman, because one said no or not fulfill them purpose, you get one will do it. Because in the system, if let's say the man married for about 1 year, and then basically she tell him no 6 months straight and decide to go out there and basically have sex, she can leave with him asset because them claim say yo infidelity or being unfaithful. So she have all right for divorce and left with half of him goods. When she never there fulfill for fear half of the bargain which will come with sex. If you don't want sex, don't get married and do not sleep in the same bed with the man. Furthermore, enough women love equate sex with money as if they are prostitutes. Exactly. Some of them say, oh, if a man not coming with a certain amount of money, or if a man not gear money, right now she go withhold sex for him. So if one day the man says no to paying the bills, there should not be any issues. The man shouldn't be paying the house bills plus your bills if he cannot make love to his wife. Exactly. He did not get a roommate, he got a wife. Point exactly. If a man want a roommate or something, you'd probably get one of your friends them to come live with him or something, yo. Him get a wife, him never get a roommate, he never get somebody to live with like him afraid. I'm afraid him afraid. Make him say him go get one wife because he wants somebody to live with. Because he's afraid at night time because he never by himself. Him get a wife to fulfill a duty. Sex must be had. If I have a husband and we are estranged, I am not sleeping in the same bed with him. Yes, a wife can say no, but how many times really is it acceptable? Exactly, and the scripture tell you how and when you can say no, yo. Right? Especially if she is not sick. My views, and by the way, I am a woman. So she totally right on that, yo. She totally right. I'm gonna go down somewhere, see me find one. Let me see what I go on. So it said clearly you have not read what I have said with understanding. Oh, basically somebody of course basically says sex should be mutual always, most definitely. However, when it is being used as punishment, if you are a woman, you can relate to that. Something is fundamentally wrong. Many people are getting into relationships for a wrong reason. As a result, many fail miserably to satisfy each other with the basics. Only a fool man or woman will hang around after discovering that sex is being used as a weapon instead of mutual satisfaction. And this is a reply. So clearly you have not read what I have said with understanding. Read it again, please. Where in my statement did I say that sex should be forced? I'm saying how many no should a man take. I do not say he should force himself on her after that. I think he has the right to look comfort elsewhere. Then the wife will start acting as if she owns his penis. Exactly. Basically what she said is that if she said no and the man go out there, then after a while when she realizes I'm gonna go out there and get it elsewhere, then she will try basically fulfill her rule when she say, yo, him not need her anymore for that because he might get it elsewhere when he not bother her feet. Right? And you have enough woman who just use that to get half a man things there. But then again, that's why we need to have more than one woman, because when one up, as we said before, as one up freak themselves, they replace them, yo. That's it. Well, at some point into this you have something to say? No, when we're done, you can ask a question. You say, we agree that husbands must not abuse their wives. Alright, we have one more we want to read. Let's go down here, so. You say, yeah. You say, in other words, this a person a talk, right? She said, in other words, Jamaican Palmer. In other words, a wife is a slave, and what did the man give consent to? Under what conditions can a woman breach her automatic consent? A woman when she dead, no, when the man dead. That time when she get she marry who she will and go out there and do what she want and do and all of that. When the man dead. A woman loses her autonomy and her freedom when she marries. Well, and she basically have a ruler, she have a lord, she have somebody over her. So in a sense, yeah, because she her man property. You say, what a world my daughter will inherit. Can she say no to anything? We're not talking about this thing in a unrighteousness, yo, or over the board abuse. That's why you see them most of them man and woman on topics like them they get emotional, like where I say, yo, man for abuse them man and thing there. You have husbands, you have slaves and master will get along just because the master deal with them in good. Just like how you have a boss, and when you check it, you have some people and them boss move good, you have some people and them boss move bad. You have you live in a house with your parents and everything. You love your father, but sometimes you and them get in a rift where you have to correct you and all them things there. But at the end of the day, you love in the same way. Just like we say with a man, every man love them woman, yo. Every man love woman. We not tell a man to mistreat no woman, because naturally a man and a woman have a certain relationship. Right? So we not tell them we not come from an abuse standpoint. Right? I'm gonna get a scripture for that. Let's give me a sec. There was scripture we want bring out. It said this is Ecclesiasticus 40 verse 23. It said, a friend and companion never meet a miss, but above both is a wife with her husband. Exactly. So as we say, the man I love you, when you think in a righteousness and a balance, corrections are there, things are there, although the man a rule over you, that don't mean say yo, it is a bad thing yo. I just let them people that are stubborn and hate authority. I just an order to make sure that things run smooth. That's all it is, but people get emotional when them come here about somebody if you rule over somebody and all that because they talk about human rights and 24th century. That are the dragon and the flood yo. The filth when put out the lies and all the democracy and all them shit there yo. And people that follow that basically follow the image of the beast. Right? Instead of the scriptures. So with that, hope the brothers were edified. Like to say all praises to Yahweh, Washam Yahushai, double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and shalom to the brothers in the highways and byways who speak this word in all sincerity and truth. Shalom.